My character died in the first session. Your character survived character creation? Hey, what's up, everybody? Hoarse, raspy voice here, still sick, or, well, not that sick anymore, but my throat is still sore, and I still have I have a bad voice. Anyway, you're gonna get used to it throughout the video, hopefully. If not, then it's what it is what it is, I guess. Welcome to another DnDMemes. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. Before jumping into the video, I wanna quickly kindly ask you if you're not yet subscribed to the channel. Consider doing so now, it only takes a moment. You can undo it later if you want, so thanks so much if you do subscribe. And yeah, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Interesting ideas you can find on the internet. As we all know, red dragons brief right channel audio, white dragons brief left channel audio, and yellow dragons brief video. Sorry, I had to draw this. Jesus Christ, that looks amazing. When the ruby and silver heads speak, those nearby hear whispers in their ears, and when the gold head speaks, its victims see visions. I guess? Yeah. Iconic D&D characters ranked by whether I think they're virgins or not. Canonically had probably had asexual by choice, virgin, I don't know what beholders even do. And then there's the CEO of incels, which everyone recognizes, I guess. I'm just here to start the next pointless fight. Katana or longsword. Spear. Nobody messes with mom. I made my magic shopkeeper a retired level 20 adventurer, so my players don't mess with them. I made the magic shopkeep one of the PC's moms. Anyway, yeah, that's one way to make sure nobody messes with her, I guess. Dwarf double standards. Know the party rules. This is appropriate. Dwarf saying that dwarves are better than every other race. Based, rock and stone. And then there's inappropriate when elves say that elves are better than every other race. Hello, human resources. Also, there's a random quote: when the mind is silent like a lake, the lotus blossoms. I don't think that's related, but I noticed it anyway. You do this once, and the paranoia of it will keep your shopkeep safe permanently. Your players stab the shopkeep for his rare relics. He crumbles into dust, letting out a sigh. Finally free. The entire shop bursts into fairy fire, and shackles grab the stabber before changing into a new shop. Soul for a soul, servitude for servitude. You are now under a fake contract. Okay, this is already the second meme of this episode, and it's pretty early on. With a way of having the shopkeep not be killed by the party, or I guess an alternative to when that happens. Love Brad Williams. Any small race. And no one got it. They were all like, it's just 1.5 feet of snow. I am 4 feet tall, okay? Insert harder mommy here. My friends, the players. What you got there? Me, the DM, doing world building with tall, buff Egyptian cat girls. A smoothie? No, go on about that. That sounds intriguing. The Egyptian cat girls. That sounds interesting, actually. When your bard player's character dies and they come back as a druid, remember, there are no stupid questions. Can I use my wild shape to turn into a cow and let the party drink my milk as a source of water? Interesting question, Dylan. But yeah, I'm gonna have to add idiot to the notes for Dylan Matthews. Jesus, poor Matthew, poor Dylan. I guess I'm the idiot. Kind of hard to blend in when everyone's a race that no one's seen before, no? All of these adventuring parties, sir, how do we tell which one is the chosen group? It's simple, Captain. Look for the one that's all exotic races. Yeah, or just the one with the most most random mix of races, I guess, or even the one causing most trouble usually. Most of the time doing that without really being ill-intended. I respect each DM's choices of game balance, but if I'm going to get focus fired in every fight for using a core ability, I'd rather you have just told me to pick a different race at the start. There are 2 wolves inside of you. One bans flying races from the table, and the other targets flying PCs so hard that taking off is basically a death sentence. They are functionally identical. Actually, the one that targets them might be more annoying, to be honest. A player mentioned this during after session talk, and I haven't been able to get it out of my head since. I bet he's thinking about other women. Have we ever gotten a description about what health potions taste like? Well, no, but you know they're red at least, right? I always imagined it tasting somewhat like medicine, like I don't know, cough syrup or something. I'm about to go full-blown Terraria on their asses. Give me your ideas for some interesting slime enemies. I'm starting a homebrew campaign with 12 interested players. I make a Google form to identify everyone's content sensitivities. Many players prefer animals, humanoids, and sentient creatures not to be combatants. Slime time, that's the answer to it, I guess. Rest in spaghetti, never forgetty. The ghost's horrifying visage ages you by 30 years. The elf not being affected at all. And then there's also the Aarakocra next to them. Also the Kenku and I don't know, a few others. Technically, banishment can be used to get out of the astral plane. Get a bag of holding, get the first bag of holding and put in another bag of holding, and then get stuck in the astral plane. And then you can use banishment on yourself back to the material plane. Yeah, you might know spells innately, but I can light a campfire a few times a day. Elves, practically immortal, noble warriors with immaculate craftsmanship. Dwarves, skilled excavators, immensely rich and have great beards. Warforged, built for combat, heavily armored and a marvel of engineering. And then there's the Dragonborn, breathing fire, and I guess that's pretty much it. This isn't about flight being overpowered, it's about allowing DMs to ban build options when necessary. You pick a flying race and I have to build my entire campaign around your character. I ban Aarakocra one time, blocking a single choice for you to save my sanity, and I'm labeled as a bad DM. That doesn't seem fair. Yeah, probably doesn't, I don't know how much work actually goes into making, making it possible for someone to play Aarakocra in your campaign. Creation bards are incredibly fun. Me, realizing that my creation bard can make a nuke at level 14 since it is a non-magical item that he knows of because it is an isekai campaign. Time for a crusade. The celestial big bad evil guy to the party. The world is cruel and I shall cleanse it in holy fire and remake it in my own vision. Join me or perish under my wrath. Your terms are acceptable, says the party back to him. They don't think it'd be like this, but it do. Queer D&D players be like, I'm gonna play a Tiefling. On to the next slide. Person. Reanimating corpses for use in battle is unethical. Necromancer. I'm recycling. Well, now someone has to go and fight the corpses. I am also, consequently, creating jobs. You laugh, but some necromancer is out there setting up a PowerPoint presentation. Gotta love the Witcher TTRPG. My character died in the first session. Your character survived character creation? Well, that's impressive. Yeah, you made it past character creation, good job. Seriously, does no one remember that 5th edition was developed as D&D Next? 1D&D is just a development name. They're gonna call it something different on release. Well, that was time well spent. You plan a dragon encounter for weeks and the paladin does 105 damage in one turn. Oh god, I love it so much when there's a story about a DM planning something and things going completely sideways because the party got lucky or something. Please share inspirational out-of-context quotes from your campaigns. I need them for science. It's a very high DC to counterspell a frying pan. I hope you're inspired today. Tune in tomorrow for more inspirational quotes daily. Damn, Tensor's transformation goes hard. Tensor's transformation, 6th level concentration transmutation. So you endow yourself with endurance and martial prowess fueled by magic. Until the spell ends, you can't cast spells and you gain the following benefits. 50 temporary hit points, and if any of these remain when the spell ends, they are lost. Advantage on attack rolls that you make with simple and martial weapons. When you hit a target with a weapon attack, it takes an extra 2d12 force. Jesus. Proficiency with all armor, shields, simple and martial weapons. Proficiency in strength and con saving throws, and you actually just win the game. Everyone including your friends and family dies, all planes of existence don't exist anymore, and it is done. We are a singularity again. Immediately after the spell ends, you must succeed on a DC 15 Constitution saving throw or suffer 1 level of exhaustion. No, I love it. It seems really balanced. It seems like a really solid spell. Here's something to distract you from arguments about flying races: the Paladin and the Rogue. In my defense, I was left unsupervised. Wasn't Anakin with you? The Bard. In my defense, I was also left unsupervised. War. War never changes. Should flying PCs be banned? Now, before that it was Pathfinder 2nd edition versus 5th edition, before that martials versus casters, before that do female reptilian races have mammary glands, and then before that do you put the modifier or the score in the box on your character sheet. Yeah, you put the score, the modifier goes below, okay? Okay, that's the only acceptable way to do it. But obviously that's a joke and you can do it however you want because it's your character shit, okay? Based on a true story. You drop your sword to use the somatic component of a spell. The enemy spellcaster uses their readied action to catapult your sword 90 feet away. I realize that it's not strictly raw and I'm putting an explanation of why I think it works in the comments. The wizard who chose Catapult for their spell mastery and has a bag of holding full of lead spheres, and the half-dead big bad evil guy hiding in an anti-magic field. Okay, so the description of anti-magic field says that spells that target a creature or object in the field have no effect on that target. Catapult does not explicitly target a creature, it just says the object gets launched in a direction of your choice, and any creature that it would hit gets to make a dex save to avoid taking damage. Presumably, once the initial burst of force is applied, the spell is no longer actively affecting the object. The flies 90 feet and then falls a bit is kinda unrealistic and could be called magical, but I think it can be hand-waved as Wizards of the Coast, not wanting to make people have to do physics calculations in the middle of combat. Pretty sure that raw, non-magical ranged weapons don't care about being fired horizontally versus straight up either. I just chose lead for the sphere material because it's the second densest element and thus among the smallest volumes that you need to reach 1 pound requirement for Catapult that you could reasonably get in a standard fantasy setting that isn't gold, because that would be super expensive. The densest is mercury, which has a solid issue of its own. And besides, at the level this scenario takes place at, 18+, a fighter can make 4 attacks with a longbow every round, doing much more damage at longer range than the Catapult wizard, so it's certainly not a balance issue. When a holy person does it, it's fine and dandy. When an academic does it, it's all leech comparisons. Cowards. Paladin. I use Revivify to save our party members. Wizard. I use Clone to do the same. Paladin. Clone? That's necromancy. Evil. Evil. Okay, dude. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Does anyone else remember in previous editions when the martial caster divide was so huge that it was called linear warriors and quadratic wizards? Pepperidge Farm remembers. The 5 intelligence hill giant has enough brain cells to know how to throw a rock at something. DMs. Some DMs. I ban flying races because they can trivialize encounters and I don't want to give everything ranged options. And then there's flying defensive power types and they are weak to electric, ice and rock. Wonder what an instant 5,000 pounds of pull on your belt would do to your body. Adventurers are more hardy than regular humans, by the way. DM. At the end of your turn, the big bad evil guy uses a legendary action to turn on your immovable rod with Mage Hand. Robin Holmes, a rogue. How does he even know how to do that? You literally stole it from him last session. Fine, but it's attached to my unbreakable belt. I'll just detach it on my turn. Okay, well before that, it's the big bad evil guy's turn. They cast Wish and wish the immovable rod was immovable relative to the sun. Oh no. Oh yes, says the DM. Well, no, I think you'd still die. I don't care how sturdy an adventurer is, they would still probably die from that. Or I guess he would be pulled into space or something, he would still die, okay, that's the point. Just a joke, I know they're friends and of course I think both of them are pretty great. You're just a cheap knockoff. Oh no, I'm the upgrade. Useless spell. Trade offer. I receive your turn and you receive a worse alternative than just attacking twice. The True Strike spell. Today was an interesting one-shot. I don't think I've ever silenced a DM so thoroughly. Mistra gently explaining why she stopped the party wizards breaching the weave to go home, and Mistra after the party wizards turned her logic against her with hard evidence in front of the other gods. Okay, on that note, that's it for today's video, so thanks so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like if you did and subscribe for more if you haven't already. Also thank you to everyone supporting the channel on Patreon as well as on YouTube, I appreciate it a lot, so thanks so much for those. Links below if you can check those out, there's links to the social media, Discord, server, anything else. And yeah, that's it, thanks again for watching, I'll see you next time, have a great day, bye.